and welcome back to Lorehammer. We got the three hosts here and one dog. Who are we looking at? We got myself, Marcus, and we also got Gerald. Ooh. And a squiggly little puppy.
This is Ziggy. Say hi, Ziggy.
Is that your official Astartes war gear? You're going to rip off one of the legs, replace it with a cyborg leg, maybe a laser eye?
Nah. Laser eye, maybe.
Are you going to join the Arbites and that's going to be your cyber mastiff, Gerald?
He's going to need a few growth hormones for that, but I think we'll make something work.
Hunting crime and catching bitches. Him and Gerald. Nice.
What a team.
What a team. We got a fun episode. Final little Astartes Armoury episode for a while. This one we're going into equipment. So we've done a whole big roundabout of war gear from armor to fucking power swords to bolters, heavy weapons, special weapons, rare weapons. Now we're talking about some equipment. But quick housekeeping before I get into it. Come join the Discord. A lot of fun. You can go post all types of crazy stuff there. If you join, come say hello. You know, don't just be a lurker. You can definitely say hello in general, and then people kind of be your friend. They'll latch on to you like some sort of parasitic 40k creature. It's fine, though. It's beneficial for everyone. But come join the Discord.
And if you post a picture of whatever minis you're working on, you'll make friends for life.
It's true. If anyone ever on there says they're working on a mini, I will demand you post pictures. So just be aware of that.
Oh, yeah. It's the first thing that people ask for is just please show us pictures of what you're working on.
Yeah. Pixar didn't happen. The same rule goes for women. If you're courting any, you know, no, I got to see that before I can verify if that's real or not. You know.
Same goes for feet.
Same for feet. Yeah. All of these things are very valid to have pictures of. But yeah, come join the Discord and don't forget to join the Patreon.
Well, speaking of the Patreon, speaking of entry fees, if you want to support the show, come join the Imperial Tithe for just $2.50 per month. You can have access to ad-free versions on Spotify. And once the hosting site decides to work and all that stuff. But anyways, you can also join the live stream for just $5 a month, where you can see me, Mark, Fuzz, and then the Doge here.
The Doge is the most important one.
Yeah. I got a cat lurking in the background. It might make an appearance. Fuzz, you had a little animal running around too, eh? Yeah,
that was one of our newer kittens, Katara. She likes to come up and she might walk across the screen here in a little bit.
Nice. Okay, so new podcast idea, Pet Hammer, where we combine these two ideas.
I love it.
Channel.
We'll go through like main characters of Warhammer and say what kind of animal they would be.
There we go.
There we go. I like that.
Honestly, I bet you there's like a chart somewhere on the depths of Reddit of what kind of breed of dog every Primarch would be.
Oh God, I hate that place. Yeah, that's nightmare fuel up there.
But speaking of wanting to see us and our animals on the live stream, like Gerald said, if you pay $5, you can join the live stream. It's an excellent entertainment to cost ratio, and you can come. Not only can you watch us, you can listen to us live. You can type into the chat, have your questions answered. We'll address your comments, and depending on how long things run, if we have time, we do call-in guests at the end of the show. I mean, that's where I first, joined in, was watching live and doing call-ins and just being able to talk to us about your thoughts, your deepest 40K desires.
Yeah, that's what got me for sure. You started talking about your deep 40K desires. I'm like,
oh yeah,
I want that tau.
For me, it was the Tau. So
I didn't know I signed up for Only Hammers. Holy cow! Hold on.
All right, cool. Well, yeah, we got a fun episode. The Astartes equipment. It's not just about the cool ways you kill people with different weapons. You also have different ways to find the things you want to kill, or to lock onto the things you want to kill, or to obscure the things you want to kill. All types of weird little things and knickknacks here. I was kind of surprised, honestly, how little equipment there was. You could get into like, how much equipment do they need? And maybe we will. Like, do they really need a whole lot? They're not like special operatives, so to speak. They're like special forces where they go in and destroy everything and then leave a smoldering ruin. So you don't need a whole lot of fancy tools and shit necessarily. But yeah, we'll get into a bunch of stuff, such as the one interesting one was a cryo box. I've never heard of that before. Luminator signal flare capsules, grav flares, bolt shell sanctification unit. That one was pretty spiffy. So we're going to get into some of these things. Some different things you can mount on your armor, as well as put in your combat webbing, all types of little knickknacks and stuff like that. In this armor, purity seals don't count as equipment. They are sweet and cool and give you a fancy buff. Not technically equipment.
Yeah, it definitely seems like this is a lot of stuff. It's not like you might think of like a World War I or World War II kit where you've got your weapons but you also have got like your survival gear, your pots and your pans and your blankets. You know, the Astartes don't need necessarily a way to like make fire and build shelter. They don't have entrenching tools like maybe a guardsman would.
Exactly. And even like food, their backpack on their power armor has nutrition pouches to feed them and stuff and keep them going. So yeah, it's funny, like, because when we did the Imperial Guard one, like you said, with World War II stuff, they have it like an Imperial Guard picture and all the little bubble art, like this is a patch and this is a canteen and all those little things. Like the Astartes, it's like not like that. It's not survival objects. They're still all like geared towards killing.
But even so, like, even so, like, it's not like the same kind of equipment you would use for a guardsman, but it's still Astartes, so it's still going to be top notch in comparison.
Oh yeah, most assuredly.
Yeah, cool. Well, let's get into it.
Alrighty. Astartes Armoury, equipment topic, and of course we got to talk about the Firstborns and their war gear. So Astartes war gear is a seamless union of armor, weapons, and battlefield apparatus engineered to transform a space marine into a self-contained engine of war. Encased in sacred power armor or the indomitable bulk of Terminator plate, an Astartes carries centuries of craftsmanship and relic technology into every engagement. Their weapons range from disciplined bolter fire to crackling power blades and thunderous heavy arms, each sanctified by ritual and maintained with monastic devotion. Integrated systems, all-specs arrays, teleport homers, jump packs, and command relics expand their reach across the void, sky, and fortress walls alike. Together, armor, armament, and equipment form not separate tools, but a single martial covenant, binding the warrior to his chapter's legacy and to the eternal prosecution of war.
Yeah, this like unification of all these different aspects are kind of what really makes the Astartes unique, where you got the gene seed and that's super unique, but then you also got the combination of that with power armor and the way it all interfaces, and then like your bolter also interfaces with your helmet, and then all of this stuff kind of just is perfectly made for war for them.
All right. So the equipment of the Adeptus Astartes is as sacred as it is lethal. Each device a fusion of ancient technology and battlefield pragmatism. From the ever-present auspex scanning for hidden threats to teleport homers guiding reinforcements into the heart of war, their tools extend a Space Marine's awareness far beyond mortal limits. Apothecaries bear Narthecia, I don't know how to pronounce that exactly, and reductors to preserve the chapter's gene seed, while tech marines stride to battle wreathed in servo arms and harnesses that turn them into walking forges of destruction and repair. Commanders are marked by iron halos, rosarii, and company banners, their war gear serving both as protection and as symbols of unbroken lineage. Whether mounted permanently within sacred armor or carried in webbing for sudden deployment, every piece of Astartes equipment exists to ensure that the Emperor's Angel of Death remained relentless, adaptable, and utterly dominant on the field of battle. So like Mark was saying, this is all about them as warriors, and it all leads to them either getting in, killing, or getting out of their target.
Yeah, it's not about, as you're saying with that Imperial Guard, like these long drawn out campaigns where now you're lingering in trenches and you got to make sure you have your favorite pillow with you, because you're going to be here a while. It's not like that for them. When you look at the models, it's kind of pretty funny, especially if you look at the Firstborn, which we're going to be focusing on in this episode. they don't have a lot of room for extra equipment, not a lot of extra pouches. And like you buy a box set of 10 guys and there's like 2 ammo pouches in the entire box set. Like, okay.
I was just thinking that, because I've got a couple firstborn size guys that I got from friends for like use in RPGs and stuff. But as far as like building ones, I've only ever built Primaris. So having build those beyond then thinking about the size of firstborn models, you're not going to be able to fit like the grenades and the sidearm holsters and the pouches and the whatever. Yeah. Space is limited.
Yeah, exactly. I love the introduction of like the thigh pouches on the Phobos armor guys specifically. Like, ooh, top notch. I wish there was more like leather bandoliers and like leather strapping combat webbing on Astartes, but piece by piece.
Oh yeah.
All right, so we'll get into the different types of armor. We have done episodes, so we'll just kind of give a quick little summary because, like we were saying, it's the union of body, armor, war gear, and equipment that really just makes them deadly. So recap on the armor. The Adeptus Astartes employs several sacred patterns of warplate, each suited to a distinct role upon the battlefield. Neophytes begin in scout armor, a lighter carapace configuration that sacrifices the full protection of powered plate in favor of stealth, reconnaissance, and battlefield learning. Standard power armor, most commonly patterns such as the Mark 7 or 8, form the iconic shell of the Space Marine, fully sealed, strength enhancing, and integrated with life support and targeting systems. For the heaviest assaults, Terminator armor encases the wearer an ancient tactical dreadnought plate, a walking bulwark, capable of enduring punishing fire while delivering devastating close-range force. Rarer still is the Centurion warsuit armor, an exoframe layered over standard plate, transforming its bearer into a siege engine built to breach fortifications and annihilate armored threats head-on. Power armor is far more than just protection. It is a walking arsenal of integrated devices, including auto-senses, enhancers that amplify a Space Marine's perception, nutrient paste dispensers to sustain them in prolonged engagements, and medical systems capable of stabilizing injuries on the battlefield. Every plate and joint conceals tools, injectors, and storage for combat-ready supplies, turning the armor into a self-sufficient war machine. Cool. Yeah.
Nice
got a
stuff.
couple pictures pulled up of just all the different power armor types, and it's just too bad. You look at all of them and none of them have any combat webbing on them ever. The Raptors are like the only one who really go hard on all the pouches and knickknacks.
You could make an argument that maybe you could magnetize the weapon to like the back plate or like even like the thigh plate.
Oh, that's true.
Because their helmets are magnetized to them, I believe. Like when they like take them off, they kind of like magnetically lock to their belt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because in a certifiable court double nerding, you can also think if anybody's read any of the Halo books that delve into like the science fiction part, like the Spartan armor has a lot of similar workings to it with magnetizing plates and interlocking systems and whatnot. So
here's a picture of kind of like that magnetized bolter on his hip there, or bolt pistol. But yeah, that's a good point. Like a lot of them, even the grenades probably can get magnetized to different spots on them, I'm sure. Yeah,
or like the pouches, instead of having to have like an actual belt, there's maybe magnets around like the waist portion of the armor that pouches would be able to magnetize and stick to.
Okay. So I'm just thinking too, like 21st century with my full belts, I need to get all high tech, involve magnets, minimal strapping.
Right.
Okay.
Like your bat utility belt, but for your Astartes.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
The Mark Shark repellent. But how about we address the big iron hand in the room and talk about some bionics, because even Astartes got to get some bionics every now and then. Astartes bionics are advanced cybernetic augmentations used to replace limbs, organs, or sensory systems lost in battle, restoring a warrior to full combat effectiveness. In many cases, they serve as temporary battlefield solutions, rapidly installed to return a battle brother to the fight, after which vat-grown biological replacements may be cultivated and surgically grafted once the campaign is ended. Forged in the forges of the chapter and sanctified by the tech marines, these mechanical limbs are often stronger and more precise than the flesh they replace. To an Astartes, whether steel or regenerated sinew, such restoration is not a mark of weakness, but proof that even grievous wounds cannot end his service to the Emperor. For only in death does duty end.
Absolutely. I was telling Mark and Gerald before the show that I've been going through the Kai Biscayne books, and if you join our Discord, you can hear me talk about them there as well on our book club channel. But in one of the stories, he actually loses two of his fingers while fighting Necrons and ends up aboard an Astartes strike cruiser afterwards. And to kind of like show the respect of him being a mortal human who survived an encounter with the Necrons, they actually give him some bionic fingers to replace them, like the Tech Marine crafts them for him on their ship.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a nice upgrade. Yeah, bionics are fun. In 40K, they definitely have the ability to vat grow limbs, and if you're someone important like a High Lord of Terror or an Astartes, they will do that. But yeah, it's for after campaign. So during the campaign, you might be rocking your bionic, and then depending on your chapter, you might just keep your bionic, slap power armor over your bionic. You might replace it fully with like that vat grown limb part or whatever. But yeah. The bionic could be so much more useful because you could have an arm that has your hand, but then it also has like, I don't know, some type of built-in, compass on it or some fancy shit. I don't know what they need.
Yeah, in the recent Space Marine 2 update where they added the Tech Marine class, I think it's your right arm is always a bionic arm. But yeah, like if I'm a Tech Marine and I can have like a soldering iron built into my index finger, why would I not do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, in the chat, Cox is plasma weapon integration and digiweapon integration. Yeah, if you can have like a digital las gun, in your palm like Iron Man or something, why not? Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, her and Blackheart, he has his built-in heavy flamer in the palm of his hand.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So one other fun thing the Astartes have is they have armor-mounted equipment. Certain Astartes war gear is mounted directly onto their armor, integrated into helm, backpack, or gauntlet systems to function as a seamless extension of the warrior's will. Devices such as targeting arrays and signum uplinks feed real-time ballistic data to the wearer, sharpening accuracy and coordinating squad fire with machine-like precision. Hardwired into the armor's power and autosenses, these systems operate without encumbering the warrior's hands, allowing him to fight while his warplate itself becomes an active participant in the battle. So yeah, they've got their heads-up displays, like multiple screens inside their helmet. I remember relatively recently learning that the eyes in an Astartes helmet aren't actually eye holes. They're like cameras and there's screens on the other side. So the Astartes doesn't see out of their helmet. They just see the cameras.
Yeah. And then those can like get linked to the camera on their gun. So now they're seeing out like the barrel of their gun essentially. Yeah, switching between all these feeds, having 10 different feeds up because you're like tapping into all your squad members' gun barrels too to make sure you don't shoot the same guy. It gets complicated quick if you're not an Astartes.
Man, that's why you go through the implantation process because you can actually think on the level to be able to micromanage all of that.
Yeah. Primaris seem to use armor-mounted stuff a little bit more. Shoulder-mounted weapons or even built-in wrist-mounted weapons like Bolt Storm gauntlets, Frag Storm gauntlets. Like those type of weapons almost seem more like rare relics. Like Calgor had his Bolt gauntlets of Ultramar, like his Power Fist bolters, and they're rare. But with Primaris, they seem to kind of use more of these armor-mounted weapons. And the first one we're going to be talking about is the Signum. The Signum is a concentrated, man-portable, tactical cogitated born into war by the Astartes and the Adeptus Mechanicus. A relic engine through which a sergeant communes with the hidden geometry of battle. Through its sanctified circuits, he beholds streams of targeting auguries and sacred data, receiving revelation and transmitted commands so that his brothers unleash fire, but as a single ordained judgment. In his grasp, the signum does not merely relay information, it binds the squad into a unified weapon, their shots falling with disciplined, inevitable lethality. Signums are entrusted to the Vigilant of the Death Watch kill teams, to Tech Marines and Devastator Sergeants of the Firstborn, to Desolation Marines Sergeants, and to the Engine Seers who march beside the Astra Militarum, each bearing the device as both a tool and charge of Otter. Alone it is potent. United with auto senses of power armor, it becomes something greater, weaving warriors into a lattice of sight and fury that haunts without hesitation. Thus augmented, a squad strikes as though guided by an unseen hand of providence. Their coordinated precision, swift, absolute, and all but mythic in its finality. Yeah, the Signum. I got a little picture here pulled up. Just a bunch of different camera scopes and all that kind of stuff. And then the other thing that's pretty similar to this is called the Omniscope. It's kind of more just like a fancy version. The Omniscope is a sanctified visual auger born by Space Marine Centurions, wrought to refine and focus the terrible precision of their range devastation. Though its calibrated lenses, the machine-blessed arrays, it strips away shadow and distortion, allowing its bearer to pierce the murk of the hostile galaxy with unwavering clarity. Guided by the sight, the Centurion's volleys fall not as blind fury, but as measured and inevitable judgment. Yeah, cool.
Very nice.
You gotta love when like their stuff just has a skull in it, and like that little bionic eye in the skull is a functioning thing.
Is it a Omniscope or is it a servo skull? The world may never know.
May never know.
But on to other things. One of my favorite things, and that's that Astartes, is the jump pack. Like that's just really cool. A jump pack is a sanctified back-mounted engine of ascension whose roaring turbines bear even a warrior clad in power armor into the heavens. Forged from ancient STC lore, its design endures as a legacy of mankind's forgotten mastery. Each intake vent drawing breath like a living thing before its blades hurl that breath downward in thunderous benediction. Though fed by its own sacred fuel stores, even the power armor's coils strain to answer the immense demand required to cast a fully armored Space Marine skyward. A single pack grants but a dozen righteous ascents before it must be refueled or cast aside. Such is the titanic force it unleashes. Now you can imagine like the kind of strain or power demand that would need for like a Primarch. Like Corvus Corax has his own jump pack with modified like mechanical wings because the whole Raven Guard shtick. But it's pretty cool.
Yeah. They have dreadnoughts as well, not just the Raven Guards, but even Blood Angels have jump pack dreadnoughts. So then you're talking about even crazier force. But then the craziest one is they do even have Titan jump packs. And I'm not sure what the fuck that looks like, but I want to see it.
I hate to be on ground zero when they ignite those things.
Yeah. Yeah, what the fuck?
That's kind of like wipe out a town.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's doing. It's just pointing its gun at the ground and launching itself up with a volcano cannon as it just levels everything.
Right.
Cool.
And rounding out the jump pack, a jump pack transforms a warrior into a descending comet of ceramite and wrath, vaulting barricades and ruins to close upon the foe with ruthless efficiency. Its engines bellow like war hymns as they arrest a fall from low-flying craft, guiding the bearer in controlled descent so he may strike from above with relentless precision. Some revered patterns bear inbuilt grenade launchers, scouring the intended landing site so that when the warrior falls, nothing living remains to contest its arrival. So cool. And in the very first Space Marine game, I remember there was a level where you get access to a jetpack for part of it, and you also get a thunder hammer. So you can just like one of those
it's always
big
fun.
jumps and then just slam down and smash a bunch of orcs.
Yeah, they really captured the movement and like force and weight behind a Space Marine in that game. Like you said, when you come down with that hammer and the ground just cracks, like you feel like you're 1 ton or however much they weigh.
Anybody who's seen the gif of Thor from, I think it's Infinity War, when he gets Stormbreaker for the first time, he just comes in and slams on the ground. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's a very satisfying move to just use that jump pack and slam down in the middle of a bunch of goons and just destroy them.
Peak masculinity.
Yeah. There are a bunch of different marks of jetpack from like the Horus Heresy era where they're more like big turbines, almost 2 big turbines. And then you got kind of your more standard style. And then you got your gravitic style with your Primaris, where they usually have like grab fins on them and shit. Like here. Yeah, and then like I said, there's you can get them for dreadnoughts, so you can get them for Titans even. So
yeah.
Slap one of these bad boys onto anything, enough of them, and you can launch anything.
Right. Imagine like the Titan with a jump pack. It only goes like 20 feet up because it's as much as it can move its mass.
It just falls and creates another crater. Like, fuck. Yeah, very cool.
All right. So next we've got the Narthecium and Reductor. The Narthecium is a Space Marine apothecary's sacred field reliquary bearing the consecrated instruments required to preserve the chapter's lifeblood and return the wounded to righteous battle with unyielding haste. Within its sanctified casing rest the tools by which broken flesh is mended or solemn duty fulfilled, that no gene seed be lost and no sacrifice rendered vain. So these are what your apothecaries are going to be using. Again, if you pay for the $5 a month to watch us do the live streams, we've got pictures up here going too, so you can see what we're talking about as we're talking about it.
It's a very like unique piece of tool. Like you get the idea of a chainsaw, a chain sword, but like this has so many different little wires and drills and needles, and
it's like your medical power glove. So included in the standard kit are anti-venom, stim packs, and healing agents, sterile clay for the sealing of grievous wounds, a carnifex by which the apothecary grants swift mercy to the mortally stricken. I'm assuming that's not the same as the Tyrannid carnifex. A carbon alloy reductor, a sacred implement for the extraction of the progenoid organs, ensuring the immortal legacy of the fallen endures. You can see also some of this in some of the Warhammer animations. I forget which ones it is, but there's an apothecary you see working with a salamander, collecting gene seed from fallen Space Marines who've been killed by Necron.
I think it's Pariah Nexus, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because there's some that kind of flow into each other, like Pariah Nexus and Tithe, I think, have some mixed components. Anyway, so the other components may include a chain blade and an apothecarian drill fashioned to pierce even ceramite plate in the urgent pursuit of preservation. The deep bore configuration lowers the chain blade and replaces it with a saw disc. It's designed singular in purpose to breach armor and reclaim gene seed with relentless efficiency. The Hagen pattern drill is larger and more puissant, wrought to penetrate Terminator armor as readily as standard battle plate, that even the mightiest warrior's legacy may be secured amid the fury of war. So, like, this is violent medicine, which makes sense for an Astartes. Because, besides, like the clay and stuff to patch the wounds and the anti-venom, your apothecary's primary goal is to rip you open when you're dead and pull out the most important thing you have, which is your gene seed.
Yeah, nothing like good old after health care.
Right.
Yeah. As we kind of mentioned with the power armor, they do have all those like painkillers and like adrenaline stims and combat stims and all those kind of stuff in their own suits. So like, that to having apothecary do it, it's kind of redundant. So yeah, they're just those claimers of the seed.
Mm-hmm.
Next weapon is, or next equipment is the Psychic Hood. The Psychic Hood is an arcane relic born by Space Marine librarians, wrought to magnify the bearer's communion with the warp and to shield his mind against the predations of hostile psychers. Most sacred of its functions, the Psychic Hood grants its wearer the power to unmake the working psychers nearby through disciplined will and focused nullification. Crowned by the rising metal halo that arcs from the backplate of Librarian's power armor, the hood houses interwoven, precisely aligned crystals whose resonant lattice fractures incoming psychic force and turns them aside. A Space Marine librarian wearing a Psychic Hood stands as both conduit and bulwark, his presence upon the field a silent challenge to unseen foes. Yet by virtue of their archaic and revered construction, Psychic Hoods are not fashioned in flawless number, and thus cannot promise absolute warding to those who bear them. During the Horus Heresy, this truth was made manifest when corrupted librarians, now turned to chaos as sorcerers, loosed their power upon loyalist brethren, as times overwhelming even those sanctified defenses. Psychic Hoods are also borne by certain inquisitors gifted with psychic talent, and by warriors of the Grey Knight Space Marine chapters, chamber militant of the Ordo Malleus, whose eternal vigil is waged against the demon and the darkness beyond sight. Yeah, the Psychic Hood, you got kind of this dome with a bunch of wires in it. Yeah, just like relaying energy and nullifying it and putting it through coils and wards and whatever. I guess it's got a big one.
Psychic Hood, tainted, crystals, totally fried. You know how expensive this gear is, son? Tell that to Chaos.
Yeah. Mephiston has the craziest Psychic Hood of all. It's like a full-on like vampire cloak collar thing that he's popped up. Like it's out of this world. Definitely go look at the Blood Angels Mephiston Psychic Hood.
I mean, if you're like, they're not beating the vampire allegations anytime soon with him.
No. They're gonna suck that one dry of content before they give it up.
That's a knee slapper.
All right.
But speaking of things that slap, probably one of the most iconic pieces of one of the other most iconic pieces of Astartes equipment is the Iron Halo.
Yeah.
An Iron Halo is a revered relic of the Space Marine Armoury, an ancient honor bestowed upon a warrior who has proven exceptional resolve and valor amidst the crucible of war. Each bears within a potent conversion field akin to a Rosarius or a refractor field that girds the warrior in unseen radiance, strengthening his power armor so he may endure even the fiercest storm of enemy fire. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that's a tabletop feature too. You can equip one of your Astartes with an Iron Halo, and that boosts like their toughness or their roll saves. Somebody with tight tabletop knowledge.
Typically you get a 4+ Inv save.
Nice. Very nice. The Iron Halo manifests as a spiked circlet or a half crown of gray iron, borne upon helm or shoulder, though some rise in a noble arch above the Battle Brother's head, bound to the gorget or backplate like a crown of silent authority. In rare and hallowed instances, its surface is inscribed with litanies of the bearer's deeds or the honored names of the heroes from his chapter, binding legacy to living flesh. The Iron Halo is not merely ornament, but signifier of sacred command within the Adeptus Astartes, most often granted only to captains and those of equal stature by decree of the chapter master. Such relics are so scarce that within the Ultramarines, only captains and company champions may bear them, and their presence upon the field is both shield and standard. Invested with this honor, a Space Marine carries not only enhanced protection, but the burden of decisive command, his brothers turning to him for swift judgment and lethal clarity unless outranked by a senior officer. Even among the Death Watch, where rank is softened by necessity, The bearer's authority is rarely questioned, for he stands proven in war, a leader whose counsel is sought and whose presence promises unyielding resolve in the direst of engagements.
Yeah, fucking cool. He's walking around with a force field on him. Yeah, he's going to be unstoppable, that guy. You want to walk behind him for sure. He's just going to create a line of violence you can fall behind.
Yeah, the Iron Halo, I'm most familiar with it in Space Marine 2. When you're doing PvE, the heavy class has access to it. And yeah, you're exactly right. It puts a shield, like a forward-facing shield, so you want to stay behind him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Like, that game does pretty good with the interpretations of a lot of its war gear, but I never really pictured it working quite like in that game. But like, it's just mechanical, you know?
I mean, definitely, yeah. Some of it is your mechanics, especially with thinking about other ability conventions for games similar to that.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it does say it's similar to a refractor field, so like that would make me think a little bit of something like a force field.
Yeah, like it's so close and it's such a nitpicky thing.
Yeah,
and like I said, it is just so like game mechanics. But
yeah,
you see a lot in that and pretty cool. I think you had it in the Dawn of War games too, where you could press like one of those skill buttons and it would pop a bubble down.
Okay,
Nice.
Yeah,
very good. All right, so next we've got the servo harness. A servo harness is a sanctified augmetic array born by a chapter's master of the forge or his most exalted tech marines, a walking reliquary dedicated to the Omnissiah. In truth, it is a mobile shrine of steel and fire, bearing blessed tools, articulated limbs, and consecrated weapons in harmonious union. Through its manifold instruments, the master of the forge restores sundered war engines amid the storm of battle, fortifies failing bulwarks, and stands beside his battle brothers as both artificer and executioner. Unlike lesser mechadendrites, the servo harness is most often mounted upon the Tech Marine's power armor, rising from his back like an iron halo of industry and wrath. Not to be confused with the iron halo we just talked about. But yeah, these things are sweet. Though governed by direct neural communion, it need not be permanently grafted to flesh, remaining instead a sacred war vestment donned in times of dire necessity. And that's calling back to how we were talking about, everything's kind of interlinked. So for Tech Marines, this isn't like grafted to them like augmetics, but it's just another thing that's plugged in that they can control with their helmets. It's plugged in, probably just into their like some sort of neural interface so they can control it with their thoughts.
Yeah.
Let's see. Foremost among its dread instruments is the plasma cutter, a close-range implement that unleashes a searing torrent of superheated plasma, capable of carving through even the reinforced ceramite of Terminator armor. The harness is further armed with a flamer and a standard servo arm, ensuring that its bearer may mend, purge, or annihilate with equal and uncompromising efficiency. Was there something you're going to say, Mark, to cut you off?
I just keep seeing this Space Wolf one, and it makes me laugh every time I see the Space Wolf servo arm with the wolf head. Clapping out. Picking up tanks and shit with it.
Oh man, that's so good.
All I ever got from that was wolf.
Yeah, I've seen a couple different variations of it. I'm like, what the fuck? What is happening here?
There's that like top corner one at the very top of the page. It looks like it reminds me of the load lifter arms from the exosuit Ripley uses in Alien.
Yeah.
just like this massive claw.
You're gonna get the clamps. Just a big old clampy head.
Going back to like the Warhammer animations, I know there's a lot of clips going around about this one, but there's a Tech Marine in the Blood Angels series of animations, and I forget what they're called. But I know the clip going around. There's a clip that goes, like what makes men cry, and it's the dreadnought that like is like, I wish I could just see the skies of Ball one more time.
This time.
And there's the Tech Marine that's like trying to work on him and save him, and you see that Tech Marine do quite a bit of fighting aboard their ship. So you get to see those weapons and mechadendrites and claws kind of all working in concert to fight something. It's really cool to watch.
I think the animation is Angels of Death, because that's the one that's in like black and white, and then like they only show red.
Yes, it's
one-
very Sin City like in that respect. Where there's just
Okay.
a couple occasionally flashes of red that you see on things. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that scene. Another good animation is if anyone's seen the Hell's Reach movie. It's a little bit older than the Angels of Death one, but there is a Black Templar Tech Marine trying to access some Age
Archaeotech.
of Archaeotech.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to find that and
Without-
watch it.
Yeah, without the permission of the Mechanicum. So
Yeah.
Is that on YouTube or anything?
yeah, they have it. It's on YouTube.
Oh, sweet. All right. So to continue, so the servo arm is a formidable augmetic limb crowned with a crushing claw, a sacred manipulator mechadendrite wrought for both labor and war. Among the many mechadendrites fashioned by the servants of the machine god, these stand as the most enduring and ubiquitous, their lineage steeped in the forge lore of Mars. Engine seers bear them upon the battlefield to restore crippled engines and sanctify broken war machines, while tech marines wield them with equal mastery in the chapter's service. In the press of close combat, the servo arm becomes a weapon of ruthless efficiency, its iron grasp capable of pulping armor and bone with mechanical finality. These immense artifices possess, just crushing something's skull and like just pulping it in its hands. Yeah.
You ever see like the pimple popper on YouTube or whatever the fuck?
Yeah, I've seen some of those videos.
Ah, rank.
Oh.
But yeah, Tech Priest would be killer at that, man. They'd be
Or the videos of like using hydraulic presses to crush things.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what I imagine the mechadendrites
Yeah.
being like. So these immense artifices possess the might to raise a battle tank from the earth, or the precision to realign fractured components and seal rents in a vehicle's flank with molten skill. Yet for all their strength and sacred purpose, they are not instruments of subtlety. To entrust one with a fragile data slate or delicate mechanism is to court destruction, for such power is ill-suited to gentleness and more often leaves lesser objects crushed or cast aside. Just like trying to use like the touchpad on a data slate, just smashes a hole through it or something.
This is making me think of like the red cyber ninja from Mortal Kombat. I think it was Sector, and like like one of his fatalities is like he opens up his chest, and then you just get like a giant server arm that just crushes the opponent in a fatality.
No, man, I love it. Just about like the Hulk trying to use like a smartphone or something. All right. So the last part is the mechadendrite, or just like what is a mechadendrite? It is the sacred designation of the myriad bionic tendrils and articulated augmetic limbs borne by the tech priests of the Adeptus Mechanicus and the tech marines of the Adeptus Astartes. Each is a sinuous extension of will and doctrine, a fusion of flesh and sanctified steel that speaks to mankind's ancient covenant with the machine. Through these iron appendages, the bearer performs acts of precise micro-construction and battlefield restoration, tending to engines and armor with tireless efficiency. Yet, they are not solely instruments of craft and inquiry. In moments of peril, a mechadendrite may become a weapon, delivering calibrated defensive fire with mechanical inevitability. So yeah, like any kind of bionic arm would be considered a mechadendrite, just that umbrella term. So whether it's a claw, a wrench, a clamp, a drill, anything like that. I mean, potentially even like the servo arms that have like guns on them, anything like that could be considered a mechadendrite.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and oftentimes you get like multiple ones of these where you go all like Dr. Octopus and you get a whole flock of them. Yeah.
And they can be in all sorts of different locations on like especially for tech priests. Tech marines, I feel like generally only have them on their backpack. But when you get into tech priests, they can be coming off their shoulders. They could be their legs could be mechadendrites.
Yeah.
They can have like mechadendrite tails, all sorts of things.
Yeah. But these are definitely like where the actual fixing stuff comes in. Like you look at the tech priests and they have this giant clamp arm and you're like, well, that's not going to fix much. But yeah, it's all these mechadendrites that have all these like digital tools in them and stuff that can really kind of.
Yeah, having like one has the clamp and then maybe it has a welder built into like the mouth of the clamp, and then you've got your plasma cutters and everything. Yeah. And just the image of even a tech marine, like as let alone like or a tech marine or a tech priest, when it talks about them, lifting a tank. I mean, even as big as they are, like a tech marine lifting an entire tank up to fix it is just wild.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy to think about. Yeah. All right. So that was kind of the end of our armor mounted stuff. We're going to dive into shields next. Still a weapon under the right hands. Astartes shields, from compact combat shields to towering storm shields, born by elite veterans, are more than slabs of ceramite and energy projectors. They are mobile bulwarks of the chapter's honor, carried into the fiercest fire without hesitation. Each is engineered for a ruthless battlefield efficiency, whether deflecting small arms fire in a breaching action or turning aside a las cannon blast and crackling power fields in the heat of melee. In the hands of Space Marines, a shield becomes a mythic wall of adamantium and unyielding promise that where he stands, the enemy fury will break and be found wanting. Yeah, cool.
That's cool. That actually reminds me of a quote from one of the Siege of Terra books. Hold on, I gotta set the dog down. There we go. Okay. I'll pull up the quote sometime later, but it's basically an Imperial Fist has it's either combat shield or a storm shield. He draws a line in the sand. And he says, "Not one step back," as like hordes upon hordes of hordes upon hordes of like Horus's armies are descending upon them.
And there's like a surprising variation in like the size and shape and style of these shields. Like you've got ones that look like heater or kite shields, ones that look like just a big cross as storm shields. You've got like tower shields.
Boarding shields are kind of more like your traditional like riot shields almost.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, all types. Yeah, and then you really get chapter specific with these ones too. Depending on the war gear you kind of fight in the other hand, you might change that shield shape for sure.
Oh, definitely. Like the shield style is very much going to be influenced by your chapter's, martial doctrine and the way they fight.
Yeah. Like I got a picture of a Space Wolf pulled up right now, and yeah, they're gonna have lots of round, like Viking-esque style shields, just like the big round axe in the other hand,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, whereas like Iron Warriors, you see them with more like that riot style shield, because they basically have they basically form like a shield wall with their bolters that kind of have that notch in the side to shoot while they've got their shields up.
Yeah, fucking tight. Yeah, that's such a great.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Wall-to-wall shields, and then just the little bolter flashes poking through.
Mm-hmm.
So cool. So cool. I'll look for that quote later, but while we're gushing over the shields, let's one is called the combat shield. A combat shield is a lighter, more agile counterpart to the revered storm shield, wrought for warriors who must advance without surrendering speed or killing momentum. It draws upon the same consecrated principles that empower force weapons, sheathing its face in a crackling field of energy that turns aside blades and bolts with disciplined resolve. Though smaller and less absolute in its protection than the storm shield, it remains a trusted ward among the Adeptus Astartes, granting measured defense without dulling offensive purpose. By its balanced design, the combat shield preserves a warrior's freedom of motion, leaving one hand ready to strike with uncompromising precision. Fashioned of resilient plasteel and housing a compact power generator, the shield casts a focused energy veil across its surface. When activated, forming a steadfast barrier against the foe. Its form varies by chapter, tradition, and heraldry. The Crimson Fists favor coffin-shaped bulwarks, the Blood Angels bear cruciform designs, and the Iron Fists shape theirs as armored gauntlets, each pattern reflecting legacy as much as function. Compact enough to be secured to the forearm, it allows both hands to wield death as needed, a seamless union of protection and relentless efficiency. Iron Fists, do you mean, was that a typo, or is there actually an Iron Fists chapter?
I could see there being an Iron Fist chapter. Let me
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but I know a lot of people like get them confused when you have the Imperial Fist and the Iron Hands.
No, Iron Fist. Yeah, Iron Fist. They have a 40K wiki article about them. Their loyalist chapter of Space Marines and successor chapter of the Iron Hands. So I'm gonna go into my talk. I use this to talk about melee combat because like this reminds me a lot of if anyone has ever watched like HEMA or like the Armored Combat League stuff. This kind of like small buckler is really good, like it says, for being agile. It gives you a lot of movement and flexibility with it for defending. It's not like it's not like a big bulky shield that's tightly strapped to your arm. You can maneuver it a lot. It's really good for fast striking, which is something you see in armored combat a lot. So like I said, it does allow you to wield another weapon in your hand. So you could have like a shield, a bolter, and a sword, or even 2 swords and a shield strapped to one of them, which is always fun to fight with. And just bash your opponent's face in with it.
Nice.
I've never used this for like steel combat, but I've fought with a similar thing in like foam weapon combat.
Yeah, fun.
All right, so now we'll get a little bit bigger. We got the boarding and the siege shield. So boarding shields, also known as siege shields, are revered bulwarks borne by Space Marines in the crucible of void assaults and grinding sieges, raised to drink in the fury of incoming fire and hold the line where others would falter. Heavier and broader than the standard combat shield, the boarding shield was once the chosen war gear of Legion breacher squads before the ascendance of the storm shield. Its sacred duty to the sundering of enemy hulls and the storming of fortress gates. Though its protective field could not rival the nascent storm shield prototypes that emerged during the era of the Horus Heresy, its formidable mass and reinforced construction blunted direct assault with relentless practicality, turning killing blows into glancing ruin. The generators of that age were further refined to better withstand the savagery of close quarters combat, making the boarding shield a steadfast companion in the press of blade and bolt. By virtue of these strengths, the venerable shield endured within the Legion armories long after storm shields became widespread, valued for its brutal efficiency and unyielding presence. Boarding shields were most often entrusted to breacher squads and kindred specialist formations tasked with similar duties of advance and denial. The Ultramarines Invictaris Suzerain squads, in particular, bore ornate examples into battle, their decorated faces serving both as defensive bastion and heraldic testament amid clash of close combat. So these are really good. Yeah. So good.
No, you go for it.
Oh yeah. So these big riot style shields. I mean, really very similar to what you would see in real life riot police, with some of them having like the little windows to look through when you hold it up, for these, slots for the bolters to sit in.
Yeah, and they just leave so much room on that shield for like fancy heraldry and shit. It's such a great spot to slap a whole human skeleton on sometimes. Like, yeah, you got room to decorate.
I mean, that's what, just going back to real life history, like in the Middle Ages and just, and across cultures, that shield is, what said who you were and what you've done.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, in each Legion, they just have that slightly different variation just to really, This one's sweet. That's that Ultramarine one.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, cool. All right, we'll jump to the Storm Shields next, the final shield variation. The Storm Shield is a sanctified bulwark borne by Space Marines, Demon Hunters, and the Adeptus Custodes, a pinnacle of defensive warcraft, forged for those who stand where the battle is fiercest. More advanced and imposing than the lighter combat shield, it offers superior protection through its great size, demands the full grip of the bearer's hand, forsaking the dual-wielding fury permitted by lesser wards. Most commonly wrought in the likeness of the Crux Terminatus, though many honored variants endure, the Storm Shield draws power from the generator housed inside the bearer's power armor, or Terminator armor. When awakened, it shimmers with caged blue energy, and upon impact, it answers with crackling arcs of lightning that give voice to its name. Often paired with crushing might of the Thunderhammer, the shield forms one half of the mythic union of ruin and resilience. Against blade or bolt, las cannon beam, or wrath of super heavy ordnance, the storm shield stands as the unyielding wall, a radiant testament that the warrior behind it shall not fall easily. Yeah, fucking tight. The big storm shields are so cool when they have kind of the bottom end. Like this is a good variation of it, where it's more like the tall cross shape as opposed to like or like a letter T as opposed to like a plus sign.
Yeah, I like the taller one better. Like the smaller storm shield almost looks like it's the storm shield version of that combat shield, and then you have the tall one, which is like the storm shield version of the boarding siege shields. I don't know if that's what it's like meant to be, but it is now.
It is now, yeah.
And I like, especially like looking at the difference, you can kind of see where it talks about like the storm shield overtaking the boarding shield in some ways, but they still kept the boarding shield. So like the boarding shield almost looks like it's more physically defensive. It covers more surface area than the storm shield does. But the storm shield's going to have like a stronger like force field to it.
Yeah. Like that storm shield will turn aside any blow, where the boarding shield is just covering a lot of blows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, very cool. I think there is some other types of shields out there too. Like the combat shield sometimes has a built-in bolt pistol. I don't know if that's like a specific mark or a specific type of shield, but once upon a time you could find bolt pistols. But maybe also too, it wasn't in the shield. Maybe it's like that dual wielding that you were talking about. Since it's you could be holding that pistol and the shield all at the same time. So hard to say about that, but keep your eyes out. The truth is out there. We just got to find it.
I'm working on like a small shield for a LARP to like strap to my forearm for when I'm using like a two-handed sword. When it's done, maybe I'll take a picture of like that, like with like a pistol in the hand, just as an example of that.
Yeah. You're satisfying my demand for pics. I like that, Fuzz.
There you go.
We'll move into combat webbing. Honestly, I love combat webbing. You were joking, Fuzz, about you can't fit the bolt pistol, frag grenades, and all that on Firstborn, but I sure fucking tried every time, man. I would always go to like Hordo Bits or Bitsbox or any site that just sells one-off bits and just try to stack up on as many grenades and pouches. They got to be war ready,
Oh yeah, I mean, it looks better when they've got all those extra little bits. It definitely just adds that extra nice little touch.
Yeah, man. All right, tell us about the combat weapon.
Sure thing. Astartes combat webbing, from reinforced belts heavy with sanctified ammunition pouches to crossbody bandoliers and secured thigh straps, is engineered to ensure that every round, blade, and charge is carried with disciplined efficiency into the heart of battle. Each strap and fastening is integrated seamlessly with the power armor, locking into place so that no motion is wasted and no weapon lies beyond immediate reach. Though utilitarian in purpose, even these humble harnesses become part of a warrior's legend, bearing the tools of war like relics at his side as he advances unbroken into the storm.
Cool. Yeah, the Phobos armor guys definitely have the best example of like tactical combat webbing for sure, where they got pouches on their chest, thighs, everywhere you look, there's another little pouch or ammo box or knife or something.
It's where you got to store your snacks for in the middle of combat.
Yeah. Like, look at this guy. He's got 3 knives for cutting up snacks. It's a little much. Good for him, though. Good for him.
Yeah, whenever I like, I've recently been building some kin, and I've built a lot of Tau and stuff in them too, just adding those extra little bits. There's a kin unit for the Hearthkin Salvager kill team, and the entire thing is it's just him carrying a bunch of shit. And yeah, you love it, Mark.
What was that guy called? I'll look
it's called a lugger. is because it's like they have a specific clone scheme that they can just carry more than anybody else.
You're a carrier, a lugger. Nice. Okay. Yeah, very cool. Just look at all those knickknacks.
Yeah. Anything you possibly need.
Nice.
Nice.
Now that's combat weapon.
Yeah. And what would you want to carry in that combat webbing? But ammo and grenades. So Astartes ammunition magazines and grenades are secured with reinforced pouches and locking clamps along their combat webbing, positioned for immediate access so that no heartbeat is wasted in the cycle of destruction. Each charge and bolt round is stored with disciplined order and sacred intent, ensuring that when the moment of need arrives, the warrior's wrath may be unleashed without hesitation or disorder.
Yeah, like a lot of the stuff that's fit in those pouches are just going to be ammo and grenades for sure. That's going to be like 90% of what the Astartes carries on them. And most Astartes are just going to be carrying that. They're not going to be carrying like fancy Auspex arrays on them or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
You might have one or two specialists that are designated to a special piece of war gear. But yeah, it's mostly just going to be ammo and grenades.
Yeah, I like that thought that like I wouldn't think of it first that the positioning of it matters, but it does. Like even in real life military, those extra magazines and stuff are positioned very specifically on your body to be accessed in the most efficient way possible, so you're not wasting your movements.
Yeah, not to like nitpick, but it's always funny when somebody puts like the bolt pistol on the wrong draw side, or like they make it so
okay.
It's like, how do you hold the combat shield and draw for your pistol? Or like I don't know, just like weird things like that where it's like, that's on, put it the other way, you son of a bitch. But I don't want to.
Right.
I don't want to be that guy. I'm trying to not be that guy. We got Auspex up next, so we'll go into a couple other things you can toss into those fancy pouches. Some of these like they're not necessarily universal. Like I will be talking about teleporter homers eventually. Like we got a mini for them where some of them shoot down from fucking orbit. You shoot a teleporter homer down, but some of them you can put in your pouch, like some Death Watch ones, and you got different sizes and scales. So some of these items fall under that same, like they're not all combat webbing items that you could put in a pouch. They might have a variant that can do that though. So the Auspex first. Scanners known as the multi-scanners or Auspexes are concentrated Imperial detection devices attuned to the hindered tremors of motion, veiled gases, and the myriad emissions of heat, radiation, and motive force shed by engines and living prey alike. Their foremost purpose in war is revelation, to unveil concealed foes and mark them for swift and disciplined annihilation. A standard handheld Auspex may range from 50 to 100 or to 1,500 meters. Through dense barriers and warded materials can thwart its gaze, while larger and more finely wrought instruments extend their reach to 5 or even 10 kilometers and pierce walls a meter thick. Mounted upon ground vehicles, such systems may scour expanses of 50 kilometers, and when borne by aircraft, their sight may stretch to 100, casting a vast net of vigilance. Voidcraft-mounted Auspexes arrays possess still greater potency, sweeping a planet's orbit and surface from the system's edge near the Mandeville point. Their harvest of data rendered in hololithic projections or pick screens after solemn procession by cogitators and tireless monotask servitors. Scanners may appear as handheld view screen relics or integrated within helmets as the revered suits of Terminator armor. The Imperial Guard names their instrument surveyors, while the Space Marines and kindred forces employ the Auspex, trusting its readings as they would a veterans' council. Yeah, there's a couple different types of scanners. I'm sure there's a whole lot more, but these ones are kind of your primary ones. And then there's actually one near kin one that I'll mention as well for you, Fuzz.
Oh, yeah, which was that?
I've got to remember the name of it. I'm looking it up right now.
I feel like I should know that one too, but
yeah, I'm trying to remember if it was like mentioned in like the book or something, like not the Codex, but like the High Cult's Oath book or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was called the Demiurge Looking Glass, where it was basically like before the kin came out, they had the kind of pseudo kin, the Demiurge.
Yeah.
They had their Demiurge Looking Glass that could look so far into the earth or whatever and through everything.
That makes sense. They'd have that for, like looking for minerals and looking for ruins to delve into, and got to figure out where they're going to lay claim.
All right, I guess moving on to different scanners, we got the Augury scanner. This sacred detection device warns its bearer of concealed foes or the imminent approach of enemy forces, granting precious moments in which to ready righteous fire. In which case, the Night Lords fans in the room, we're scanning. Energy scanners. This pattern discerns the emissions of engines, machines, and active war gear, revealing the position of vehicles, automatons, and functioning weapons. While it does not register the quiet pulse of ordinary life, psychic phenomena blaze upon its readings with unmistakable intensity. The radiation signatures are indistinguishable from other energetic sources. So if you see a bright light on your scanner, could it be psychic? Could it be radiation? Flip a coin. And then you got the Augury Malefica. I think I'm saying that right. The Augury Malefica is a profoundly altered auspex, so extensively reworked by the technoseers of the Grey Knights chapter that little of the original device remains discernible. Arcane attachments crown its frame, subtle calibrations refine its inner workings, and 7 solemn rites of detection were enacted to consecrate its machine spirit to a singular and terrible purpose. The result is an instrument capable, with disciplined precision, of discerning the malignant auras of nearby demons and, on rare and fateful occasions, foretelling the tremors of an imminent warp breach. 7 solemn rites. That's very Nurgle coded. I don't know how to feel about that.
Yeah.
It now rests within the hidden vaults of the Death Watch, though not by the knowledge or blessing of the Grey Knights, who remain unaware that the relic endures in such custody. Instead, they believe it despoiled and carried off by the accursed word bearers. that makes me laugh. And have long sought its recovery with unrelenting resolve. I can imagine them like storming a word bearer's fortress and then be like, whoa, 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 whoa. That's not us this time. Hold on. Should the truth of its whereabouts come to light, the revelation would strain the bonds between chapters and cast a long shadow over their hard-won unity. Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh my god, imagine like the Death Watch and the Grey Knights going to war with each other. That would be so bad.
Yeah, that would not be good.
No.
Yeah. Who do you think would win? I think the Death Watch would take it away, though, I think.
I was thinking the same thing because the the Grey Knights are obviously incredibly strong, but they are specialized in being strong against demons, whereas the Death Watch is specialized in being strong against everything.
Yeah. And I think, too, Death Watch just have more
resources.
Yeah, more resources, more numbers, just more.
I mean, if one singular first founding chapter can fight off Grey Knights, Space Wolves, I think the Death Watch definitely has more than a chance of holding its own.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair.
Yeah. The next little batch of items.
So we've got the Chameleoline Tarpaulin. The Chameleoline Tarpaulin, I'm proud of myself for pronouncing that in the first try, are thin yet resilient shrouds wrought from photosensitive color-shifting fabric that mirrors and absorbs the hues of its surroundings as though guided by a patient, watchful spirit. Issued in 5x5 meter sheets, these veils may be joined together in seamless succession, cloaking assets from a lone land speeder to a rhino or even an entire encampment beneath a mantle of near-perfect concealment. So a camo cloak are hooded mantles fashioned from a resilient mesh backing interwoven with thousands of color-shifting, light-devouring ribbons that drink in their surroundings and veil the bearer from prying eyes. Wrought for endurance as much as concealment, they shroud the warrior in a patient hunter's stillness, turning him into a whisper amid ruin and shadow. Such cloaks are favored by Death Watch sharpshooters and Vanguard Space Marines, whose craft demands both silent approach and the certainty of a single flawless kill.
Cool. Magic fabric that changes hues and textures and colors. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I remember, I forget how long ago this was, but like reading about like real world attempts at camouflage like this, and what it kind of evolved was like fiber optic cables that each end is both a camera and a screen.
Wow.
So like on the other end of that fiber optic cable, they're each projecting on the screen what the opposite camera is seeing.
Huh.
That's
But it's
cool.
just so expensive because it's just
Oh my god, yeah.
like
It's just
a
wildly
billion
expensive.
cameras. Like,
Yeah.
cool.
There was a remake of the Invisible Man movie came out. This is a few years ago, but instead of like some kind of super serum that just turns like a dude invisible, like a guy created like a suit, and it basically functioned the way that Fuzz just described it, where it's just like equal parts fiber optic cables and like cameras, but the way it functions is like the dude can only wear it for like so long at a time before he overheats inside the suit.
Oh, okay.
And then they say in like you can listen back at the scenes that like he's technically quote unquote invisible, and you can hear like little clicking and chittering of the fiber optics actually like working to project the camouflage.
Okay. Yeah, I could see something that working in a like suit or something that's like static, because its orientation isn't going to change.
Mhm.
But doing it in like a cloth that can just be like wrapped around, and like which points are opposite which other points is like constantly shifting is bananas.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be a tough thing to do. Do you guys like this look that I've pulled up on the screen where it has like the digital active camo where it's like that blue line transition?
Oh, I love that, especially like I see it so much with like ghost keels and
Yeah.
like the different
Mhm.
Tau camouflage units. It's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you see that a lot with like really cool Alpha Legion conversions where like you're doing like one half like a Dark Angels or a Blood Angel, and then like the other half
Oh, nice.
an Alpha Legionnaire. That's really cool. I did that with my I did that effect with when I did my Alpharis and Omegon minis.
Was one turning into Alpharius and then was turning into Omegon?
You're goddamn right.
It's got-
Yeah, that's a crazy one. Holy moly. Some people in their painting is just get out of town. Too good.
Oh yeah. Like I want to try that at some point, like, but I just need the right thing to do it on.
Yeah, it's a very specific technique.
Yeah, with the camo cloaks, I mean, like I mean, part of that is a little realistic because we do like there are the like colors and fabrics that do absorb like 99.9% of light. So like if you're using that to move around in the darkness, it would be really good. But then like obviously like the color shifting aspect of it that's where the space magic technology comes in.
Yeah.
But just somebody like a sniper sitting in like a Vanta black cloak in the middle of the night, just absolutely invisible.
Yeah.
I was waiting for someone to bring up Vanta Black.
Oh yeah. Or I actually arguably maybe visible because it would be a potentially darker shadow than the shadows around it.
Hey. Yeah, cool. All right, the next thing is the diagnosticator. And it is a hollow term applied to two sacred instruments, one devoted to discerning the failings of a machine spirit and the other unveiling the afflictions of the flesh. The technical diagnosticator is a compact handheld reliquary of calibrated augers and cogitator arrays entrusted to Death Watch tech marines for the solemn task of interpreting a machine's distress. Fitted with numerous sanctioned plugins and adapters, it communes with nearly any construct of human manufacture, while its sensors pierce hull and casing alike to reveal hidden fractures and material fatigue and subtle flaws invisible to the unaided eye. Through its precise readings, the Techmarine restores failing engines and honors his unending covenant with the Omnisire, ensuring that every war machine returns swiftly to lethal action. In 40K, you got to go to Mars for 200 years to figure out how to work their calibrating tool.
This is super cool. It's just like a universal error code reader.
Yeah.
So much more.
And then they got the medical one. This one really sucks to plug in, but some people like it. The name also denotes a highly advanced Imperial medical instrument distributed across the stars to forces such as Imperial Guard and rogue traders. Though most commonly found in the service of senior planetary and Imperial officials, these devices are capable of identifying and diagnosing nearly any ailment known to the Imperium, prescribing treatments with unerring efficiency. Many incorporate full medical kits, attendant servo skulls, and specialized servitors, forming a mobile shrine of preservation that guard the lives deemed vital to the Emperor's dominion. If you're a Space Marine, you might get access to one of these every now and again if you're on some super specific mission, but your run-of-the-mill Astartes aren't really in need of this stuff. You got the common cold. Here's some pain medication or some cold medication for you, Astartes. It's just not.
Yeah, like it says, the technical diagnosticator is going to be with your, one or two tech marines, and the medical one's going to be with your. Why can't I not think of the name of the medical marine? It's fucking
apothecary.
There you go. Thank you. With your apothecary is going to have that one.
Yeah, sure.
I think I imagine those things would just go haywire if they go onto a plague world or any kind of deal with Death Guard.
It just explodes. The technical one registers that the medical one's having a seizure.
Yeah.
Just you just look at it, it just says everything is fucked.
If machine spirits could have a stroke. Oh man. But from diagnosticators, we now have Omni tools. The Astartes Omni tool is an improved version of the Combi tool, specifically designed to repair bionics and servitors. An example of the Forge Masters of the Watch Fortress. That's a mouthful. Ariok, working to master and perfect the technology of the Death Watch, often creating devices far superior to those used in the Imperium at large.
Yeah, cool. Combi tool. Just kind of can do it all. It's like a Swiss Army knife of 40K.
So yeah, specifically like a Swiss Army ratchet.
Swiss Army ratchet, yeah.
It's like your tech tool. It's like your Swiss Army knife, but it's gonna have a hammer and a screwdriver and a socket wrench and probably a little welder in it or something.
Yeah. Some WD-40s in there.
Oh yeah. Your sacred unguents. All right, so now we got the communications beacon. These are consecrated Vox devices borne by Space Marine scouts, serving as discrete conduits of disciplined communion upon the field of war. When activated, they bind the scattered brethren into a single lattice of shared sight and purpose, allowing intelligence and augury to pass swiftly and without distortion between them. Through this unseen network, the scouts refine their plans with lethal clarity, ensuring that every mission is met with foreknowledge, precision, and the quiet inevitability of the hunter's strike. And this is another thing that you see a lot in real life. Think back to the little green army men you played with as a kid, and there's the one that has the communications backpack, and this is very much the same kind of thing. And you still see it in real life military. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, you just set up these little ping points and keep sending messages from person to person.
You've got your walkie-talkies and they've got a range of 20 feet, but maybe they all connect into this one beacon, and now they've each got a range of 100 feet to each other.
Yeah. Now we're talking. Now we can really send some messages back and forth.
Hell yeah.
All right. The next one is the cryo box. The cryo boxes are sanctified portable reliquaries employed by Space Marine chapters, each capable of preserving the gene seed of at least a full squadron in suspended sacred stasis. Within their chill chambers rests the immortal legacy of the fallen battle brothers, guarded against decay so that the chapter's line endures unbroken. Apothecaries assigned to attack bike squadrons bear these relics upon their steeds, racing through fire and ruin to reclaim the precious progenoid harvest within solemn haste and unwavering resolve. Yeah, pretty cool. What do you put all the gene seed in once you've harvested it from your late friend Bill? Well, you toss it in this box.
It's like the Astartes version of like the medical transports for like organ donors.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not just like some shitty white styrofoam box. It's like, really?
It's not a white cooler you got from Walmart. It is.
Yeah. So much better. It's got a skull on the side of it.
Right.
But what if it is a white styrofoam cooler from the Dark Ages technology?
It's an igloo cooler they slapped a skull on. It's what you're telling me, Gerald.
Sacred Dark Age text keeps everything so cold.
I found this STC that freezes organs. What is it called? Igloo.
Igloo. Oh, man.
It's named after a fierce creature from old Earth. It's called a Yeti.
Oh man. Oh man. Well, now we have the cutter torch. Cutter torches are weighty Space Marine melta tools. Their effective reach extending little beyond the span of an outstretched arm, yet within that distance they are instruments of utter finality. Melta weapons are fearsome devices that unmake their targets through subatomic agitation, causing matter to seethe, blister, and liquefy, or by unleashing a contained fusion reaction, often fueled by a sacred pyrum and promethium admixture, projected into a searing blast of incandescent ruin. Their fury is greatest at intimate range, where armor, bulkhead, and fortress wall alike are reduced to molten surrender before the bearer's inexorable advance.
Yeah, nothing like taking that welding torch into close combat with you.
Right. I mean, this is definitely going to be used for like your breacher squads, something that's going to be like boarding parties and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But like even them, like it's kind of a waste of a spot. Like you probably have somebody in your squad that has a power fist or like maybe a thunder hammer or something else that can just fucking rip that door off the hinges or do something like that where you'd have to really be doing a lot of breaching or something like to be to take this in a standard squad's loadout, you know?
Yeah, I mean, because like if you have your tech marine with you, they've got almost certainly like a plasma cutting torch on their backpack, and they can cut a hole through a bulkhead or whatever.
Yeah,
I could see maybe like this can get through thicker material because it basically does like unmake the atoms.
Sure. Yeah, like you can't punch down a 10 meter door. You know, you can punch it with power fist all day long. But the cutting tool, if it's like literally melting it away and taking it apart, and for sure.
All right. So after that, we've got grav flares. Grav flares are launched from integral tube projectors and cast high above the battlefield to bathe vast tracts of terrain in unforgiving light. Driven aloft by a compact rocket motor and held suspended by a low-yield gravitic system akin to a grav plate, these blazing chemical suns hang in the firmament, illuminating an expanse of nearly 10 kilometers in breadth. They burn in red, white, green, gold, or blue, each radiant hue transforming night and shadow into a revealed domain where no foe may easily hide. That's so cool.
Like just the level of technology in that is like we don't have that level of technology in such a simple object, but very cool.
Have you seen those like bajillion lumen flashlights that you like literally you can light up something a mile away?
Yeah. But that doesn't have grav technology on it though. That's the issue.
Put it on a drone, Mark. That's what.
Oh.
think it was
Bro-
BMW or Volkswagen that they were like showcasing one of their new high beam lights or whatnot, and they
Oh my
did it
God,
by
no.
shining on a freaking cow, and you can just see like all the internal organs. It was just shining so bright.
What the heck?
We don't need cars with those kind of lights.
Yeah.
You
No.
really don't, especially when you got
Oh my
those,
God.
especially when you got those assholes that drive them with it on, no matter if there's oncoming traffic or not.
Well, I mean, and even like besides that, like there's been issue with just a side tangent, but yeah, like people are complaining about just certain cars' normal headlights are super bright LEDs that are
Yeah.
almost as bright as fucking high beams. It's stupid.
Exactly.
Hey,
This
where
is
you
like,
guys
you
are
don't-
at,
you-
do you get those crazy purple street lights now, or?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh.
I've seen a few I've seen a few on the road up to my neighborhood. So yeah.
There's not a lot of streetlights around where I live, so I don't think I've got them yet. But maybe if I'm like going like into this, like if I went like into Philly or something, like into the city, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, it was a weird trip. I went back home like a year ago or whatever, and they switched out a bunch of the city lights to those purple ones, and it was like, well, what the fuck happened here? Like,
I'll have to look
Weird.
that up. Yeah.
Jamming beacon is next. Jamming beacons are arcane interference engines employed by Space Marines, most often mounted upon swift land speeder storms as they range ahead of the main assault. When activated, they unleash a surge of potent electromagnetic distortion, saturating the battlefield in disciplined static and machine wrought dissonance. The resulting veil of disruption robs enemy reserves of vital location and navigational data, casting them into confusion while Astartes strikes with ruthless, unerring precision. Pretty simple, pretty cool. Yeah, when you have teleportation in 40k, like lots of things just pop up behind you and shit, so it's nice to have one of these.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And now we got the locator beacon. Locator beacons are portable auger and signaling reliquaries, incorporating teleport homers, broad spectrum communications, and precise geopositional tracking arrays within a single consecrated device. They're most often borne by Space Marines scout bike squads who carry them deep behind enemy lines to seed the ground for a coming wrath. Once awakened, the beacons transmit refined tactical intelligence to the Strike Force's command, guiding reinforcements with unerring accuracy by drop pod descent, teleportation flare, or the sudden fury of a coordinated deep strike. It signals services as a fixed star amid the chaos of war, a point upon which the devastation may be precisely focused. Such beacons are also sanctify ground for deployment of remote defensive engines, including tarantula sentry guns, ensuring that once claimed, the position is swiftly fortified in steel and disciplined fire.
Yeah, so the locator beacon and the jamming beacon are like natural enemies.
Yeah. Then we got teleporter homers where now you're bringing it all back in. So you jam, you locate, you teleport. Oh my god!
So if your locator beacon is stronger than your jamming beacon, you can use your teleport homer.
Yes.
Which is also known as a deep strike beacon. They are venerable relics of teleportation lore employed by Space Marines, Chaos Space Marines, and Demon Hunters alike. Each emits a potent and unwavering signal that may be seized upon by Terminator armor arrays or teleporting brethren, guiding their translation from the void with far greater precision than blind descent and scattered arrival. Through these beacons, warriors materialize upon the battlefield as if called by destiny itself, their emergence measured, exact, and devastatingly efficient. Yet for all their potency, such devices must be placed upon the field in the proper position to fulfill their purpose, and thus their bearers often stand exposed to grave peril while they prepare the path for sudden mythic reinforcement. And yeah, just like that zap of light, and all of a sudden there's Terminators coming in, or it's like Centurion armor I could see teleporting into. Just your hero units coming in to save the day.
Yeah, you can just shoot one of these from orbit. Pretty cool. You could shoot one of these from orbit more accurately than teleporting in from orbit, I guess. So that's fun.
Yeah, you don't want to be stuck in a wall because you teleported wrong.
No. The next one is the Luminator Signal Flare Capsules. The Luminator Signal Flare capsules are compact, high-intensity beacons, each scarcely half the size of a standard bolt round, yet radiant with disciplined brilliance. They function in 2 sacred modes, a steady burn and a rapid stroboscopic flare. In a steady aspect, they serve to mark and illuminate, casting clear light across a 5-meter span and revealing ground that must not be lost. In stroboscopic aspect, they pulse hundreds of times each minute. A flashing summons a dire warning amid a tumultuous war. Unlike enduring lamp packs or glow globes, illuminated flares expend their power in a single devoted use, and once their brilliance fades, they are cast aside, their purpose fulfilled. Ooh. Some flares. Yeah, and like, flares and all these things, while they are fun and stuff, and they might help your allies, Astartes, they can see in pitch black. They have all their infrared, all their different camera settings already in their helmet. So a lot of this stuff kind of becomes redundant, but also maybe you don't have a helmet or...
Yeah, I can see it also being like a distraction for your enemies, but also like marking targets and marking areas for your not Astartes, people that you're working with.
Yeah. Marking purposes, that's good. I like that for marking purposes and stuff. But
it's almost kind of seeing like, we don't necessarily need this stuff, but here you go, you little mortals. That way you can keep up.
I mean, if you've got sorry, go ahead.
A lot of these items I found in like the Death Watch RPG, where I think the people didn't fully realize what Space Marines are capable of. I know when I was playing that game, people would try to put you in a dark cave and you're like, yeah, I can see. And they're like, no, you can't. And you're like, yeah, no, I can see. And also I have 2 hearts. So
right.
You can fuck off with whatever you're about to throw at me. I'm a Space Marine. So I feel like they came up with like a bunch of items for that book and then like realized, well, you don't really need them.
Yeah, how old is that RPG system? Like,
man, I want to say like 15,
late 90s?
2005. Okay. I'd say is probably my base.
Okay. I was trying to think about how much lore might have been out when that came, like when that RPG system came out. So I mean, you have plenty by that time, but
it's like the Dark Vision argument. It's like the Dark Vision argument in D&D, but for 40K.
I mean, yeah, it's absolutely right. Like, which is also arguably fair. Like, you're in Astartes, you can see in the dark, but how far can you see in the dark? You could still use this to maybe see farther. But definitely, again, if you're working in tandem with like a guard units, this would be great to have to expose enemies to them.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you got flare capsules, but you also got searchlights, specifically the photon beam searchlight. The photon beam searchlight is an advanced and potent evolution of the standard searchlight, wielded by Space Marines to scour darkness with disciplined brilliance. So I guess back to that dark cave analogy with the dark vision argument. Capable of unleashing concentrated bursts of searing radiance that can blind unprotected foes in an instant, leaving them reeling before the Astartes' inevitable advance. Such incandescent power demands immense energy to ignite its magnesium core, and thus only those encased in the formidable reactors of Terminator armor may bear and employ it in battle. This is making me think of a reel from Instagram I saw, and this goes back to those LED lights that Fuzz and I were talking about, especially like on the cars. One dude got like an LED high beam lantern or whatnot and was like flashing it around like an apartment complex, and then the reel just cuts to, like a dude opening up his window and just like whoosh, he just turns to ashes because the LED was so bright.
Fuck.
Yeah, man, like I do like the kind of like using it as a weapon to blind your enemies. I'm playing in
title this from Last Gun or what?
Not probably a little bit less strong than a las gun, but I'm playing in a Star Wars RPG, and my droid character has something similar, like a searchlight, where you can kind of like jack up the power for a second to blind your enemies temporarily. I do like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Need a
right.
good flashlight.
Yeah. So off of flashlights, we're onto the bolt shell sanctification unit. The bolt shell sanctification units are consecrated imperial reliquaries that anoint standard bolt rounds with sacred rites, transfiguring them into munitions anathema to the warp. Through ritualized calibration and machine-blessed invocation, they infuse each shell with purifying potency, ensuring that when fired, it strikes not only flesh, but the malign essence beneath. The Death Watch maintained field portable variants for their kill teams, allowing these sanctified rounds to be prepared amidst the hunt and brought to bear against the galaxy's most unholy foes. And that makes a lot of sense, especially with Death Watch, because they're going to go into situations and more likely not knowing everything that they're going to come up against. Like, they're going to be your most versatile Space Marine troops.
Yeah. Yeah, and like, oftentimes we look at chaos from like an imperial point of view, but there are plenty of Xenos that worship chaos and even the big chaos gods and all that kind of stuff. So, if you're crusading, you're going to come across some of these crazy dark rituals and stuff, and then they're going to summon demons on you. Then you need these special rounds. So pretty cool little device that you can kind of just pop in. I almost picture it like a golf ball cleaning device, where you pop it in, you swirl it around.
All right, yeah.
The golf ball back. You're like, oh, sweet, sanctified bolt shell. Love it.
Yeah, like dunks it in like Emperor blessed holy water.
Yeah.
Side tangent, not to go into like too much for this episode, but I've been thinking a lot about like the actual power of like faith within the 40K universe and how that interacts with chaos and its stuff. Just again from like stuff I've been reading, some of the books I've been reading. Because you could have ecclesiarch blessed holy water and dunk your bolt rounds in them and then have them blessed that way. And depending on the author of the novel that you're reading, it could work really, really well.
Yeah, it could work really well. Yeah. Cool. The next one is a shift field. A shift field is a relic of rare and advanced Imperial defense craft, presently entrusted to the Mentors chapter for a solemn field trial and borne upon the belt or harness of a Space Marine. When invoked, it casts force a veiling Aegeus that enfolds up 10 warriors, bending and distorting light around them so that every enemy marksman can find no certain target for their shot. Within its shimmering mantle, the brethren may behold the battlefield clearly and return fire with disciplined precision. Their lethality undiminished, yet for all its arcane potency, the field cannot bar physical intrusion, and should a foe breach its boundary, the illusion falters and protective grace is undone. Pretty cool, like, new piece of technology they're trying out. Like, this is almost more the vibe of like what the Iron Halo in Space Marine 2 does, where it's like you can almost put a squad in it. It's like this like cool down device. Kind of more that vibe. But they might not ever make it to the light of day beyond the Mentors chapter though. So who knows?
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, just for that added little less like physical defense and more. Yeah, just it makes it harder to hit you.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, next up, we got Stalker Flares. Ooh. Stalker flares are subtle chemical sigils unseen by the unaided eye and perceptible only through photo or presence optics. I think I'm saying that right. Or by warriors equipped with auto-sense goggles. Though invisible to the foe, they burn bright within sanctioned sight, allowing Space Marines to sanctify trails and designate landing zones with silent precision. In this way, the Astartes shape the battlefield unseen, guiding their advance and descent up along paths the enemy cannot easily discern or defile.
Cool.
Okay. This makes me think of like when you do like in a less gross way, but like when you take like you see people do a black light in a hotel room and you can see all the markings.
Yeah. Definitely less gross way for sure.
What does blue mean, Carl? Carl, what does blue mean?
It means the Ultramarines were here. That's all.
They blew themselves all over the place. They were blowing each other there.
Oh, no.
This kind of gives me like the vibe of like some video games you go into like a prey sense mode where like everything else turns gray and then something pops up yellow and you know where your objective is or something like that, where you can kind of just secretly track one thing and everything else kind of like dulls out. But
Horizon Zero Dawn does that. The Batman Arkham games have your detective mode that do that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think Assassin's Creed does Eagle Vision. That does the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking of, the Assassin's Creed. Yeah.
It'd be really cool to get a maybe more like RPG centric, RPG style Warhammer game that like incorporated something like this.
Yeah, we need like a better RPG, like solo, like storytelling, and not like an action RPG. But whatever, we'll get one day. AI is coming out, and we can just make our own soon enough. You know.
I'm interested to see Owlcat Games is coming out with another 40K game, but this one it looks more along the lines of like Rogue Trader, where it's like a Baldur's Gate style, XCOM style, like squad RPG as opposed to a single player one.
Okay, cool. I seen too. There's a cool like Battlefleet Gothic game that just came out. It wasn't exactly Battlefleet Gothic. It was more like Faster Than Light. It was like a weird pixel space Gothic.
Okay.
Space. Yeah. I wonder. I'll look that up as we read the next little bit.
Okay.
So now we've got our chapter relics. These are artifacts of such rarity and sanctity that their mere presence upon the battlefield alters the spirit of war itself. Forged in forgotten ages, born by legendary heroes, or tempered in campaigns that shaped the chapter's destiny, these treasures are guarded as embodiments of lineage and oath. When a relic is carried into battle, the brethren fight with heightened resolve and unyielding fury, driven to prove themselves worthy beneath its silent witness. Many such relics are not only symbolic, but potent in truth. Ancient blades that cleave with peerless sharpness, armor that turns aside mortal blows, or standards that steady wavering hearts, granting tangible advantage, even as they kindle mythic inspiration. So you've got your flags that you're going to fly and to rally your troops, and relic blades, relic shields, chalices, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, broken swords. Maybe it's a piece of like your fortress monastery that you carry around with you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Banners are probably one of the biggest ones, though, of these kind of like chapter relics. Standards are solemn ceremonial relics of space. Standards are solemn ceremonial relics of the Space Marine chapters, adorned with sacred motifs and inscribed with the battle honors each earned across centuries of relentless war. To bear a standard into combat is a rite rooted in the earliest epochs of Terran warfare. And during the Horus Heresy, the Great Legion standards stood as towering symbols of unity and indomitable will. Whatever their form, neath their looming presence, the tides of victory and ruin were decided. As warriors rallied and struck with disciplined fury, standards remain among the most revered artifacts of any chapter, each having flown above 100 battlefields, heavy with accumulated glory and sacrifice. Every Space Marine can read their woven symbols, the precise lineage, oath, and deeds they commemorate, understanding each thread as part of its own eternal charge. As sanctified relics and objects of veneration, they are enshrined within the reclusium of the chapter's fortress monastery, where they hang in solemn honor. Should a banner be too damaged to return to war, it is laid to rest within the sacred halls, its tattered form preserved as testament to the unbroken legacy it once led into battle. So we got a couple different types of banners: chapter, company, and back. A chapter banner will possess several chapter banners, yet only one may be born into war at any given time, each having been solemnly consecrated by the chapter's reclusiarch and dedicated to the heroes of its past, present, and unyet written future. A chapter banner stands as a living embodiment of the chapter's honor and lineage. a relic of such incalculable worth that some would see entire worlds burn for allowing one to fall into enemy hands. Upon the battlefield, its presence kindles the brethren to deeds beyond mortal measure, driving them to superhuman feats of discipline, ferocity, in defense of its most sacred standard. It is carried into the storm by the chapter ancient, often amidst the ranks of the honor guard, where it rises above the clash as both rallying point and eternal testament. The company banner is a physical heart of the company on the battlefield. Every Space Marine, from the most inexperienced scout to the hoariest? What the fuck is this word? What does this one mean? I'll put it in the group chat. But it sounds like they're calling those Space Marines whores. From the inexperienced scout to the most veteran of veterans, fights all the harder in its august presence. The standard bearer is never trusted to let the standard out of his grip while he still draws breath. To do so is to invite the most terrible and shameful dishonor. A company standard is carried into battle by a company ancient, typically part of the command squad. Hoary means old. Okay. Old, gray, and white, the chat says. Okay, interesting. Back banners are worn on a telescopic aerial attached to the top of backpacks. They often display to help identify a Marine squad and mark its progress on the battlefield. Volunteering to display the banner is sought after act of heroism. Cool. Yeah, different little banners. Each one has its legacy, and we were talking about the shields, how that was the forward-facing identity of the army to some degree. That times 10 with the banner, obviously. It's that easy identifying mark for people to rally behind. I do appreciate Americans in the way they deal with their flag. It's very honorable. And when you take it down, you see Marines wrap it up perfectly and do their things. There's ceremony to it. It means something.
There's a whole code of what to do, what not to do, how to display the flag, what times you're supposed to display it. If it's at nighttime, you got to have a illuminating light on it. There's a whole list of things of ways that you're supposed to respect and honor the flag.
Even for proper disposal of it, if it does get too tattered and ruined, there's even ceremony around the proper ways to get rid of it.
Very cool. It'd be fun to do all that and learn that. But then I'm looking at a Canadian flag and folding it up, and I'm should I set this bitch on fire? Maybe. The whole. So what's next? What's next in our relics?
We have chapter relics, and those can take many forms. Mastercrafted blades that strike with preternatural sharpness, ancient suits of armor whose machine spirits harden against the fiercest blows, and venerable standards or icons that radiate unwavering resolve. Some relics enhance killing efficiency through refined targeting arrays, sanctified ammunition, or field generators that shield their bearer at the moment of greatest peril. Others bestow subtler but no less potent benefits, strengthening the will of nearby warriors, sharpening their discipline, or inspiring feats of martial prowess that border upon the mythical. So that's kind of a catch-all for just anything really old or really special that the chapter might have on hand.
Yeah, and some of them, they do actually bestow powers. They have, almost like a will of their own.
Yeah. I like Grimaldus's kind of model and his retinue of guys. One of them's they're all carrying relics. One of them's carrying a banner. One of them's carrying a stone column pillar. Another one's carrying this anointing oil. But these are perfect example of relics. They all are so very different. Some of them have an obvious purpose, and some of them it's why are you carrying that stone statue around, my man? But
throw it at Eldrick, of course.
Yeah, if I ever do throw it at Eldrick, absolutely. If I ever do a homebrew chapter, I definitely want to give them a couple relics of somehow.
Yeah, it'd be cool if we got more of those chapter surf models, so we could get a little bit more of the kind of arming and behind the scene guys of stuff like this. But cool.
Hope it doesn't come through. It just started storming here, so there's some thunder. If you hear a weird rumbling coming from me.
Ambiance.
Right. Perfect for talking about chapter relics. So next we've got the Rosarius. A Rosarius is a sacred amulet housing a potent conversion field generator fashioned to shield its bearer from harm amid the fiercest onslaught. Rare and deeply revered, it stands as both advanced technology and holy icon of the Imperial Creed, entrusted only to the most exalted servants of the ecclesiarchy. The Rosarius commonly appears as an amulet bearing the aquila or a stylized adamantium cross set with a central jewel or ecclesiarchal sigil and worn upon sash, cord, or prayer beads in solemn display. Within its sanctified casing rests a minute conversion field engine, projecting a protective barrier that encircles the wearer in unseen radiance. When struck, the field transforms the force of impact into blinding light, flaring brilliantly as it turns aside even the searing fury of plasma fire. Reverently known as the Soul's Armor, the Rosarius is most famously borne by Space Marine chaplains who receive it as a sacred token of the spiritual bond they uphold between their chapter and the greater faith of the Imperium. And I imagine some of the more religiously inclined chapters are going to maybe have more of these than others.
Yeah, like since it is that direct tie to the ecclesiarch and the faith of it, like they might not even exist in some chapters, to be honest. Like
I've been having fun poking fun at some people by calling like the Black Templars and other more religious based chapters heretics, because they are in fact heretics to the imperial truth.
Yeah,
but you would have some chapters that again do stick to the true way of following the emperor, not as a god, might eschew things like that because they're not going to be religious about it.
Yeah, very cool. It's you can get a cool piece of jewelry for sure.
I mean, it's definitely handy having a personal force field, like for sure.
I don't know why all the pictures are of weirdos that want to wear it.
Don't even know.
I don't know.
No.
I mean, a rosary is a real thing, so you might be getting some weird crossover with that. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, that's that's basically a fancy term for a rosary. So
yeah,
Rosarius. Yeah, I guess it pretty much is just exactly. I never put that together until now. Thanks, Gerald.
Mm-hmm. Wow, you're quite welcome, good sir.
The wonderful I got fake Latin.
Yeah. Fuck. That one video game, that space combat game I was talking about, is called Void War. And for anyone who's played FTL, it almost looks like that. I'm almost tempted to get this game, actually. I loved FTL. But basically, you're flying on a ship and you got like little rooms. But it's a 40K game. So you're like telling your space marine, go into the armory, we're being boarded, or go to the teleportarium. I don't know, all the different places.
Oh, it is a 40K game? Okay. Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was just like a 40K like game, but okay.
No, I'm pretty sure it's like maybe not licensed, but like I'm pretty sure it's like,
It definitely looks very 40K.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't get cease and desisted by Games Workshop. I just saw something recently that Games Workshop had their legal team get involved with another game because the cover art had things that looked too much like Space Marines.
Yeah. OGW, sweet goofy bastards. Well, that was an episode of Astartes Equipment. Yeah, they have a bunch of different types, but also like we went through and a lot of them are like, well, only this guy uses it. And only in these very specific circumstances. Otherwise, they're happy with just their bolters and chainswords.
I mean, yeah, if it ain't broke. But it is good to have, some of these things in specialized situations, especially grenades.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Grenades, man, there are so many different types of grenades in 40K.
I'm sure.
Cool. Yeah, like with equipment, grenades, bolt shells, you can really make up your own war gear. I'm usually not like a super big fan of making up war gear in 40K unless it's like a different armor mark or like weapon pattern or something minor like that.
Yeah.
But you know, this you can really get pretty creative and exotic. Like your Space Marine chapter just is known for this one piece of war gear that does this one super useful thing on their planet. But they like it.
I mean sorry.
I mean, on listener lore, like I've seen some custom Space Marine chapters that have some pretty cool homebrew relics. So
yeah.
Maybe I need to make some homebrew. I can't, some homebrew relics or like equivalent thing for my homebrew kin league.
Yeah. Yeah. What would be a relic, like a IBM computer to the kin, or what's a relic?
Well, I mean, like for mine are like are all like data brokers. So I don't know, like a fiber optic cable. I don't know.
This
2 terabyte, right? I don't know, like 1,000 terabyte flash drive. I don't know.
Yeah. Look at this, a USP. It's like the part of the B smudged off, so they're just like, fuck.
They're up to USB-J. I don't know.
Oh, nice. Good for that. Good for them. Yeah, cool. Well, that kind of wraps up the Armoury. We're gonna do some Reboot Gilliman stuff and then jump maybe back into the Armoury episodes one more time just to cover some vehicles and stuff. You know, we've gone on a huge Armoury tangent here, but yeah, maybe we'll get back to it. But yeah, up next we're gonna be doing some Reboot Gilliman and Ultramarine stuff. So see you there. Cool.
Nice,
Thanks everyone for joining. See you on the next episode. Adios.